What's up, everybody? It's the Roundtable. Welcome to Roundtable number, I don't even know. I can't keep track. I can't keep track. There's one more than last month, and it's one less than next month. I don't know. It's like 30 or something. We're going to put these on YouTube soon. And then I'll be able to keep track of them. But anyway, we have an awesome show today. The technique is fatal deviation. Fatal deviation is the technique. I know we did, what's the sister? Entwined Maces a couple months ago. Now we're going to do fatal deviation today. All right, we have two awesome guests. Our first guest, once again, here we go. Our first guest, a gentleman I've never met before in person, but I've heard his name for years because words can't stress how much Monty and Angelo speak highly of this gentleman. Mr. Erick Alfaro from Mexico is with us today. And also, that's our buddy, man. It's our buddy, Willie Aguilar, one of the coolest dudes around. Willie Aguilar, one of the coolest guys. Let me tell you something. After Long Beach, I can't listen to the almond version of Melissa because Willie is an unbelievable singer. And now, of course, I have to say for both of these gentlemen, if the Kenpo wasn't good, they wouldn't be here. So get ready for some awesome Kenpo. Fatal deviation is the topic. And first, we're going to send it out to my man in Bradford, Pennsylvania, Mr. Michael Miller.
Hello, my friends. Okay, fatal deviation. And as Dan mentioned, the sister technique, Entwined Maces, keeping in mind that this one, fatal deviation, is basically off of a right, left. It'd be more like roundhouse punches. Whereas Entwined Maces is from a left, right, which is more straight punches. You go on Entwined Maces, you go to the outside of the arms, and on this one, you go to the inside of the arms. I like to start in the right neutral frame position. You're going to fire an inward block. You do an extended outward block with this vertical punch. Now, the way this is written is it's a chop. I prefer, instead of doing a chop, I prefer to do straight up palm. You can still get a chop to the throat, but palm to the jaw as well. The reason I prefer that is so I continue to control the depth. I mean, we're controlling the depth here, but then when we go to that next move, I like to continue to control that depth because of what we're going to be doing next. We're going to be coming in on the other plane. So in this case, block, I come in like this. Now we're going to cross in front. This checks, this palms to the jaw. I'm going to back up a little bit. You can fire this knee to the inner thigh if you want. That's in there. You can come across with an elbow, but you go to a hammer fist. And the way I like to do this is you do the scoop on your way out, and then you cross behind and fire the back kick. That's the way I teach it in the ideal phase. So, but technically, we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, scoop, come on back, and fire that back kick. Now, technically, that elbow is not in there in the ideal phase, but I like to put it there. Might as well, We have a little principle in Kenpo that says anytime you cross the center line, you should take something with you. It's not a rule. It's just, if it's there, why not take it, Now, talking about, we know how it relates to Entwined Maces. It also has a relationship with circling fans. And mostly it comes down to what we call an intersection. So if you look at Entwined Maces, the beginning of that is the same, right? It's basically the same. Here's the intersection. So I could start with Entwined Maces and then finish with fatal deviation. Or I could start with fatal deviation and finish with Entwined Maces. And then if you look at circling fans, it's the same intersection. It's just now you have an uppercut instead of the chop or the palm. Okay, so you could also go into circling fans. And if you look at the ending of circling fans, at least the way I teach it, it's the same ending as fatal deviation. So in circling fans, I'm going here. I come up on the top. I go here, scoop, and then come back with that back kick. That's the same way I do the ending of this. The last thing I want to kind of throw in here, if you look at position, because obviously position's all over the place. you look at calming the storm, and you look at clutching feathers. So when I do this, okay, obviously, if I were to change my hand position, then it would be calming the storm, right? Now, you just change the hand position. If I turn this into a palm, that would be clutching feathers. All right, so you can see that this stuff's all over the place. And finally, last thing I want to mention, I was talking about intersection. Now, the way I like to look at Kenpo in any technique is that any move in any technique is an intersection. So you can even go right to delayed sword, very first technique you learn. And I step back and I make we call it an inward block. Technically, it would be considered a strike, seeing as the definition of a block is force against force to stop. Well, they're grabbing you. Now, you can do delayed sword off of a punch or off of a push as well. We know that. But it's technically a strike. Now I'm at an intersection. I can do lots of stuff from here. And every move is an intersection on every technique. But anyway, I think that's probably my 5 minutes. Back to you, Mr. Meck, and let's have a great time, my friends.
Thank you very much, Mr. Miller. Moving right along, we're going to go from Bradford, PA down to Florida. My man, Mr. Monty Noir.
Salute and greetings to all. Greetings to our guest, Mr. Erick Alfaro, my brother. I see him every year with his tournament, and hopefully we're going to start seeing him back again. Mr. Willie, I've never met you before, so hopefully from now on we'll get to know each other. Before I always start, I would say thank you to frontline workers and all the guys that are keeping us alive, the police and all the nurses, doctors, and all the guys that are keeping us healthy. Thank you. The technique, it could be out of a right, left, or it could be like my brother was mentioning, it's like a bunch of intersections and you just happen to find yourself in this predicament, okay? So if it was right, left, so what we're doing is we're trying to block in, and I always like to block right at the hinge, because if you hit right at the hinge area, it makes the whole entire body, it shocks the whole entire body, okay? So if you do in and out, okay, as you do the out, you hit the same way, right at the hinge. And one thing I have noticed, a lot of times if you step back and do in, out, you are running a little bit short in distance. So as you do in and as you're coming to the out, just get in with your body in, okay? So just like a few inches to make sure that the drive, the backup mass and the drive into his body. Now you could do a palm or a vertical punch. That's your own option, okay? But I like to hit it right in the center because I want to set up this target. If I hit him right in the center, I set up I get my next target, which is this downward strike right at the hinge of the jaw. As I do this, I meet it with the palm. So I go in, out, and I step in. No sooner than I do that, then you can do a lot of appetizers. And then knee. As soon as you do the knee, this hits perfect. And you just incline it down. So it will be like a downward strike, elbow, right on his clavicle, and slide him down, lift him up, and anchor it back in. It's a lot of stuff, but it's one of my favorite. I've seen Mr. Tatum in like at least 3-4 countries doing it. So this is one of his favorite techniques. So it becomes one of mine too. Okay, so as you step in, 1 and 2 and 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and anchor. From the side view, so as you step in, wow, and then from there, you hammer right on his jaw as you step in forward, and you can hit knee, so his face comes to you. There's the face, okay? And then you anchor, drop it down right in his clavicle, and slide it down, lift him up, bam. and you let him have it for the last elbow strike at the end. My brother was mentioning also, when you find yourself in different intersections, sometimes you can insert it in clutch and feathers. The way I do clutch and feathers, because I imagine the guy is not going to just grab your hair. They're going to grab you, pull you, and strike you. So I do it as you pin and protect your face. I go in. I don't go out. I don't go back. I go in. Because he's pulling me in, so I'm going to take his guard force. I'll go in, and then you can go boom, and you do the same thing, same exact move. So yeah, so you can insert it in so many ways, in different techniques as you see it fit. Last time we're gonna do it real fast, okay? So in, out, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, anchor it down. Let them slide back and lift up and hit it. Okay? Appreciate it. Thank you so much. Back to you, Dan. Salute to all.
Excellent as always, Monty. Now, I have to be honest with you. I missed about 35 or 40 seconds of the beginning of your presentation because I was so distracted by the fact that you clearly have been working those biceps, my man. I was like, where did they come from? All of a sudden, you're all looking good, Monty, looking good. All right, moving right along. We're going to send it out to Kennett Square, Pennsylvania, Mr. Mark Lawler.
Hello, everybody. Happy Saturday. Nice to be with everybody again. Welcome to Kennett Square, Pennsylvania. Today, I don't have my wife, Gail, with me, unfortunately. Those of you who know her, she's an intravenous IV nurse, and she's working in a hospital today. They're a bit overwhelmed with everything going on. However, I will say people aren't staying sick as long, and they're not in the hospital as long, so that's a good thing. Not to get in all that, but that's where she is today. So has been and is on the front lines there with everything. I'd like to greet our guest, Mr. Alfaro. Look forward to meeting you and seeing you today. Willie, I haven't had a chance to meet you. I heard a lot about your singing, guitar playing. Perhaps we'll get a chance to jam sometime. That would be really cool. All right, so today's technique, fatal deviation. The challenge with these things, I think everybody would agree, is, you got a lot of great instructors, very knowledgeable. We're teaching the same technique. So what do? How do you put a wrinkle on something that, an established technique? So what I decided to do is take a bit of a boxing, kickboxing, fighting paradigm here. When we look at these techniques, Kenpo is a strong side system. We're right side in front a lot of the times. Perhaps that's a good subject for another thing. Why are we fighting right side in front all the time? Why is the system set up that way? There's reasons for that, obviously. I'm going to work the technique off the offside. In other words, classically, right side back, classical fighting stance. And we're going to work the technique from there. Now, what I like to compare this to is back in the day, we had something called a hand blitz. Any of you guys fought in tournaments? Perhaps you worked what was known as a hand blitz, or 3 punches, 2 steps. Okay, where perhaps you would jab. The idea was you started with what's called a lunge punch, where the weapon moved first. Okay, and your momentum pulls you through, and with 1 step you would punch. Basically, you're running the guy down. You get a guy back on his heels, basically run him down with punches. And you don't see that in boxing, really. I have actually a couple of times. I have seen it in MMA and kickboxing done effectively, mostly in tournaments, though. Okay, so when we look at fatal deviation, obviously we have, you bite on the right hand, which is a fake. Here's your punch, your chop, and then we blitz in on the guy. Basically, circling fans, the same thing, right? You're basically punching, running the guy down, right? Like Mr. Parker said, if somebody's shooting at your feet, you're not too worried about countering at the time, right? So, I mean, You're just basically running the person down. So here's my wrinkle on the technique here. I'll keep it for a right, straight left. All right. We could change this up for circular punches if we wanted. Okay. Now for the right, we're going to slip the right. Okay. We're going to come back and we're going to slip the left. Okay. Now where that vertical punch would be, we're simply going to jab. Now I'm coming in, lunge punch, and as I step where my front crossover would normally be, I'm doing that second punch. I'm going to latch on with the knee from here. Okay? So again, we're going to slip, shoot the jab, 1, 2, then into the knee. From here, I have my right side back, obviously. We're still doing the right elbow. We're going to grab the guy, and we're going to do a Thai style elbow from here. Still the same sequence, if you notice, in terms of the construction of it. It's just we're moving it into a different sort of a paradigm. All right, now from the elbow, listen, you can do whatever you want here. You know, what comes to mind to me, if I got the guy here and I can buckle his leg, I can go on and I can bulldog him. Or I can come in and I can fit for a hip throw, something like that. So anyway, I was just thinking that would be a cool thing to do with it. I see him up around 5.5 minutes already. God, that went by fast. So I don't want to go too far over. I'll throw it back to you guys. Back to you, Dan.
Thank you very much, Mr. Lawler. So I want to take you into the beginning of my experience while Mark's teaching, because, you know, we're all doing the same subject here. And Mark goes, you know, I want to take a little bit of a different approach. I'm like, all right, I want to take a little bit of a different approach. And he goes, so I want to focus on, and in my mind, I'm going, don't say boxing, don't say boxing. And Mark goes, boxing. But of course, Mark, you did something completely different than I'm going to do.
Okay,
but we're always worried about getting our stuff taken. All right, so anyway, it's my turn. Let me get this out of the way here so I can see. I'm going to move my chair out of the way. I have my son, College Boy, with me here today. He has no idea what's going on here, so I'm just going to kind of let him riff a little bit. So, fatal deviation. Now, what's going to happen? He's going to shoot a right followed by a left, right? So a right, left, a right, shoot right into your shoulder. And give me a little bit of a roundhouse to it. A little bit of a roundhouse. Yep. Boom, and then pop here, and then pow. Now, this first move here, okay, this move here is great. Okay, you can use this a lot. So the technique is a whole bunch of cool ideas, right, and all that stuff. But there's a whole lot of individual little ideas you can focus on. First, he shoots that left roundhouse at me, and I catch it. All right, this is a move I've done in sparring 647 million times. All right, from here you just follow the line, boom, and catch the guy in the face. Right now, repeated devastation. Now, what's this technique called? Fatal deviation, right, is 5 swords. Right? 5 swords is just jab, cross, uppercut, right? What 5 swords does is the inside. He shoots that right roundhouse, I'm here, and then I can just pow. And I mean, and this is boom, 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 that's standard. Now we have the other side over here, boom, and then pow, you can hit it. Angelo loves this. How many times have you seen Angelo go, whoop, pop, and stick it in his face? Because it's a great move. It's a great move. Okay, this is excellent for when you're like trench fighting. Joe Louis called it trench fighting. And I was thinking about this. I think Trejo called it the pocket. I never heard Trejo call it the pocket. I've only ever heard AJ call it the pocket. So maybe it's AJ's term. I just assumed it was from Trejo since I heard it from AJ. But in the pocket, which is in close here, where you get into contact manipulation, where you're swinging strikes, and it's good when he swings, like say he swings that right round, give me a right roundhouse, I catch it here, boom, and I have him in his face. Let me turn it around this way. You know what I mean? I catch it here, and then boom, right away. Now I have him wind up beautifully. If you karate-fy it, you can go chop, eye shot, spear, right? But really it's just back knuckle, cross, uppercut. On the other side, you have this here, boom, and then whack, that pops in. So it's a great way to work on the inside of punches. You can keep going. All right, I'm going to switch. I'm going to go to the other point I wanted to make. We all travel a lot. You guys know we all travel a lot. We all train. Everything we teach, we've learned from somebody, or we've come up with it after learning from a whole lot of somebody's, you know, and you guys know I've trained with trained with all the highest level Kenpo guys. You know, I'm trained with all of them. But anyway, two of them I trained with had two different explanations for the name Fatal Deviation. One guy, complete legit high-end Kenpo guy, said that the fatal deviation was here. 1, 2, 3. You come through here. Let me put it over here so you can see. You know, you come through here, pop, boom, pop, and then the deviation. Sorry, I just need him right in the groin. He's just chilling, watching Xbox, and I call him in and start beating up on him. This knee comes in here. Bring this back a little bit. This knee comes in here, and that's your fatal deviation. We're used to going this way, but we're going to come over here, and that's the fatal deviation. That was one explanation I heard. Another explanation I heard was that he fakes the right punch and then shoots the left, and that's where the fatal deviation, his deviation was going off of the one and going to the other. All right, thanks, kid. Which brings me to this question. Something we don't really talk about all the time. How to get the name fatal deviation. Some of these techniques, we have no idea what the names mean, right? I was going through them trying to figure out. I couldn't think of any. I was like, well, that means this, that means that. Oh, Deceptive Panther. Well, that could be this. It could be, or is that what he meant? What's the mystery behind some of these names? That's what I was thinking about with this technique. Anyway, that's all I have to say about that. Now I'm going to throw it up to Dartmouth and Mr. There he is, Dan Donfro.
All right, thanks, Dan. Coming at you from Dartmouth, Massachusetts. So fatal deviation is a technique that I've always loved. And one thing I like about some of these roundtables, take a technique that doesn't, work at all in a practical application and make it work. But this is a technique that seems to work very well, ideal phase and, on the body practical type stuff. So I'm going to start with the way I learned it, which is very similar to the way you guys are doing it. And let me just get a spot here. So it's the inward block followed by the extended outward block. We have a chop to the neck. This is a check with a horizontal palm heel to the jaw, sandwich, hammer fist, cover, and then come back with the kick. All right. When we do it after the hammer, I like to throw the kick right off the spot there instead of cover a survey and come back with another kick. So we can check it out on the body. We'll have Laura do it on Brighton. So fatal deviation, just as the textbook version, the way that we have learned it. So go ahead, fatal deviation. Bam! And right. I'll do it. So fatal deviation. All right. Didn't mean to hammer you in the face, but all right. So just a couple of little change ups on the technique. This check, all right, I like to make it a strike. And instead of a chop, like some of you guys were throwing a punch, I actually think I just did it there, is with a hammer fist. So slowly he comes in. I have 1, 2, 3 to 4. Okay. 5, 6. I'll let Brightman demonstrate that. There it is. So again, I'll do it. So 1, 2, hammer through, sandwich, pop. And there would be the fatal deviation with the change up. So now, looking at some of the relationships in the motion of things, let's have Brightman and Laura. You might recognize this technique. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And that would be the first move in the extension. And you guessed it, snapping twig. So again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There it is. And it's funny how she's going from the twist to the sandwich and hammer, and he's going to the kind of the opposite. You can see that. We can even slip in one more. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And yeah, you guessed that would have been shielding hammer. All right, so that's kind of our take on fatal deviation. Kind of a great technique. Doesn't need much to make it any better. So I guess with that, we'll send it back to you, Dan.
Spectacular. I never thought of that before. Yeah, that's what is so cool. That is what is so cool. Is here I am hanging out with all my buddies on Zoom, learning Kenpo from my buddies. Good stuff. Excellent. Speaking of buddies, I'm going to throw it over to my man, Mr. Brian Saul.
What's up, everybody? I'm sorry. I just had to try it. So fatal deviation. Well, let's see. I was going to talk about like technique relationships. I guess that's out the window. Thank you, Mr. Miller, Mr. Donfro. All right. I was going to talk about closing the distance. Nope. Mr. Lawler covered that. We did boxing. All right. You guys are not leaving me with much. So let's go back to some basics and let's just talk some good old fashioned dynamics, body dynamics, and then maybe we'll mix it up some. All right. So fatal deviation. So first of all, how many times have you guys seen people do their fatal deviation this way? The elbow never bends. All right. This Trejo used to call this long arm Kenpo. All right. You have that principle. What is it called? The outer rim, the egg shape that goes top of your shoulder, outside, top of your head, outside your shoulders, down to your groin. And you want to keep your moves within that frame. All right. Because the further your hands get away from you, the further they got to come back. And that means the longer you're exposed. Okay. So when you're dropping back and doing this, whether you're here or whether you're dropping back with it, don't do this stuff. Okay. All right. Big no-no in all of our techniques, all right? So drop back, keep this tight, all right? Keep this tight, and as quickly as this hits, all right, you got this other punch coming, all right? Maybe this is a fake, all right? Maybe it is a fake, so you can't hesitate. 1, 2, you got to drive into this. Monty was talking about that. Boom, and drive into this, okay? But look, I'm not letting this get out here, right? I'm not overextending. You got to keep it tight. Like Mr. Lawler was talking about boxing, there's really nothing different between just going slip, doing these side to sides and then coming out with a punch. Or like Dan was talking about, catching it and shooting it right from there. Absolutely nothing wrong with it, but keep everything within your frame. So drop back, you got your 1, 2. Now this chop here, Mr. Miller was talking about the depth check that this presents, and I completely agree. So, and then this can either complement that with an additional depth check, or you can actually drop it downward some to root them. That way, when you hit them here, you're starting to also cancel out height in case a leg flies up or something like that. All right, so you've got 1, 2, 3 here. Now you've got the blitz that he was talking about. This hand that comes down that does this check can be used to check out the arm if it's there. You can turn it into a strike at the same time if you want. I think Monty may have been doing that, all right? So this, now as you advance, the palm heel and the foot should hit at the same time, right? So you want to hit here, boom. These have to hit together as this comes down, and immediately thread that knee right into the inside of their right leg, all right? 1, 2, 3, and you got here, and this has to go right in. And then as you land, you hit this, let me back up. As you land, you want to hit this glancing elbow to the temple, all right, and allow that to bleed right into the groin. Boom. And if you're in tight, and if you've shot this knee forward, their right leg will shoot back and their left leg will be right there. You may be able to even just hit those at the same time. All right, so think about the mechanics of this. Tight, drop, get that height check, come through, hit, these land together, all right? These land together, you thread that knee, all right, to the inside as you land with the glancing elbow, and then you can hit the buckle on the hammer fist, come back out, come back in, and all that good stuff. Think about the positions in this technique. Mr. Dunford just did a good job with this. How many times have we ended up in this position, right? How many times? We've been here where? Well, we've been here. You could start with calming the storm, right? We heard about this one, clutching feathers. We heard about this one. And it's just about changing this to this or this to this or to this. Just the equation formula, swapping out your angles, your weapons, your lines, and your targets. All right, so this is, again, it's not all, there's nothing new here, right? It's all right there because you've done it elsewhere. The other thing that's cool about this technique is you have inside, inside the right, inside the left, right? Where else do you have insides? You got, well, we got this in long fork, right? You got the inside the left, inside the right with unfurling crane. We got the sister technique that Mike talked about in twine maces. You're on the outside, right? You've got on the outside here, right? You've got inside, outside with protecting fans, working on the inside of the left and outside of the right. So you kind of have all of your different combinations when you look at all of your two double punch techniques. And that's how this one kind of fits together. But my takeaway message on this one is your body mechanics. No long arms. Remember, the further that gets away from you, the longer your target's exposed and the further it needs to come back to protect. So keep these tight, right? Oh. And then you can come back in and that's all I got, everybody. Back to you, Mr. Mech.
Great job, Saul. Great job.
Thanks, my man.
All right. Well, that takes us to the halfway point. If you guys like what you're seeing and you want to see a little more, you can always become a member of the Brotherhood. For only $50 a year, you can become a member of the Brotherhood. What does that get you? That gets you your membership packet with your patch and your laminated ID card, your welcome letter, but you also get access to the Brotherhood members only page where we have 647 million Kenpo videos and still growing. We're adding. We don't add that often, but there's so many there. It's going to take you a while to catch up, But anyway, you can just go to brotherhoodkenpo.com and register there, and we'll get your membership packet. We'll get you onto the members only page. Also, we have a lot of events coming up. Assuming that we don't get, crippled with Omicron. I got it. I'm still recovering. I got Omicron like a week ago, but I'm not going to let that scare us. Right. So March 19th is the big one. It's Sabora's. This is the 10th anniversary. It's going to be a lot of people there. My dream has been to make the Roundtable live, all of us in the same room, and that's the goal if we don't get completely locked out, to have something like that going. But anyway, so that's March 18th and 19th in Baltimore. Right. Come April, Paul Dye's doing an East Coast tour. He's going to start down in Maryland at Sabora's and he's going to work his way all the way up to Massachusetts and Dan Donfro, and he's going to hit a bunch of spots in the middle. So if you want more information on that, you can contact Mr. Dyer. You can contact me, okay? Because he and I have been working together on that one. Pretty cool little project we're doing. Also, May, Huck's going to be at Lawler's. Can't miss that one, right? Huck, man, you can't miss that, right? June, Gigliotti's in Rhode Island. September, it says Huck at my place. Sabora wrote it down. Huck's coming back. Huck's coming back to Sabora's in September. I just found that out too. October we have Dartmouth, and November is looking like Florida. It's going to happen with Alex Perez, awesome guy down there. So anyway, I think that's about all the stuff we have going right now. Let's move it right along. All right, let's move it right along. Our next presenter is Royalty. I present to you the King of Canada.
Thank you, my loyal subjects. The force is with us. Actually, a lot of great stuff's out there. Mary Kate's helped me today. We're in a lockdown up here again in Canada. It's the fourth lockdown. That's 2 U.S. and 4 Canadian. We're trying to do the conversion for the lockdown. So it's kind of crazy. Studio closed again for the 4th time. And this 2 weeks to flatten the curve. Now it's 2 years. But anyway, on a positive note, the sun's shining in Canada. Fatal Deviation, I see a lot of great takes from everybody. Everybody's got a great take on it. So Lawler stole a lot of my stuff, or borrowed it. Sorry, it's not stealing, it's borrowing, right? Anyway, from the right-left punch, he's doing the right-left punch when you're hitting on the arm, affecting the radial nerve, and then the left one comes. Same time, I hit in and down. You can do the vertical punch, so I like to change it up a bit, because if I hit vertical punch, he's probably going to go back. Now, if something's blocking that way, that's fine. But what I do from a scientific point of view, when I hit that radial nerve, it's activating the phrenic nerve at the C2, C3 on the upper cervical, which affects the phrenic nerves connected to the diaphragm. So the diaphragm starts to spasm. That's what's separating your thoracic from your abdominal. So if I'm getting that a 1-2 hit the other one, hit, and then from here, like Mr. Miller was saying, if they're taller, I would like to come up on that. If they're not, they're a little shorter, your height a little shorter, I come down on that same time. And I'm going to be hitting the blood pressure area right here in the insertion point 9 and 10, which is a blood pressure regulator. You hit that, it's probably going to miss a heartbeat or two. So again, saying that from the right left, 1, 2, 3. Now, when I cross the center line, Mr. Miller was saying, when I hit this point here and the insertion point here at the same time, I'm going to hit that jaw point at the same time. That one there, so you okay?
I'm good, sir.
When I hit that one there, this insertion point here at the free end of the 11th rib, one of the floating ribs, connects to this insertion point out here. So if you're hitting that simultaneously, you can try this at home, especially the kids. You'll certainly get a result because it's affecting sympathetic parasympathetic. It's part of the autonomic nervous system. But not to get too much into detail on that one. When I go from this position, so if he's really far back, and a kick is nothing more than an exaggerated knee. So if he's further back after I hit him there, I would just kick and then come in. If he's in closer when I come this way here, then of course the knee line of entry is this way here, catch the elbow, like Mr. Saul was saying, and at the same time I'm going to shift to reverse both. So the upper carriage is complementing the lower carriage simultaneously. Then you can draw out, you can use the scoop like Mr. Miller was saying, a little testy situation on that one. From a previous video, we won't do that today. And then we do the follow-up side kick or back kick. So another way you can do this one here, if you're doing that, if he's doing like in twine maces, where it's 1, 2, you're in the outside sector, then you come to the inside sector. You can follow up now and blend those two. If he's doing like protecting fans of left, right, 1, 2, I'm on the inside, then the outside sector here, then I can blend those two again if I wanted to. If it's like circling fans punch, when punch comes, then you're on the inside sector the entire time, but you can still blend that or add to that from the knee and then shoot that up across the carotid artery on that side. From a boxing principle, like Mr. Lawler was saying, and if it's a right slip, 1, 2, and I shoot the punch low, come up high, then I'm going to drive that punch down, drag up and kick. You could add that as a boxing principle. I learned a lot of those from Mr. Trejo over the years. So in any event, I just want to give you a little bit of the science aspect of what's happening when you're hitting on the radial nerve, where it's affecting back here in the upper cervical, and at the same time where it's affecting when you're hitting in this area here where the elbow bends, that's the center of balance. So it's right along that line in that floating rib, and that's connected to there, affecting the autonomic nervous system. That's how that works. So anyway, how many did Mr. Meck say? 647 million times?
647 million.
What does that transcend to Canadian?
About $1 billion?
That's $1 billion Canadian, just so you guys know the conversion rate. Anyway, that's all I have. Back to you.
You're not supposed to make me laugh just as I'm about to come back on screen, my man. So here's what I was thinking as I was watching that. One of the cool things is if you look at the way I don't move anything like Steve moves. And if you look at the way Steve moves or the way I move, we don't move anything like Angelo. But we're all Trejo lineage. So, you're seeing that stuff and you're like, I know where he got. I've been in that class before, and it's just so fun to see how we grow with the lessons we all had from the same instructor. Anyway, moving right along, another Trejo lineage guy. It's how we met this guy. It was through Trejo, and how fortunate, man, the gifts that Frank Trejo has given us, they just keep coming. And Lorenzo was one of the gifts that I got through my relationship with Frank Trejo. Newly married, Lorenzo.
Hello, everybody. Hola todo el mundo. I want to talk about the relationship of the technique, but my brother Miller, Mark, Danfro, Brian Sir, Dan, he speak about the relation. So this is one thing that I want to comment. Only I want to specify. I want to explain how we can do the technique. Okay. So we do inward block, okay? Then you do a thrusting punch, outward block, you block. and then I don't hit, I do the hammer, okay? Then I continue to do front crossover, help pump, then we need to do the knee, and then we do the elbow, and then we do the reversal punch, okay? So now, one thing that we need to check is my basis move. Check a lot of time, we do this in the feet, pam, pam, okay? Remember this, we need to do this. And this is long one, okay? We need to train in the form and we need to train in as the technique we do, okay? So check your feet. We cannot do this in this technique, 1 step, 2 step, 3 step. And then 1 step, 2 step, 3 step, okay? Check your feet, 1, then, and this is the same technique. And then you come back to do the hammer, okay? Now we will use the tools to adjust the range, okay? Remember, we do the suffer, up, okay? You can do this in this when I punch in vertical punch, okay? Now, I think that this is, I don't know if it's Brian or maybe Mark Wheeler. When you hit, the man that he attacked you, he don't stay here. When you hit in the face, he go back. So you need to adjust this move. It's for that we need to do the front crossover, okay? Remember the rules. If I want to get in the same line, we need to do front crossover, okay? If I need to change the line, we need to do rear crossover. Here, I want to go in the same line. So I do front crossover, okay? Remember, 1, 2, 3, and then in Kenpo you have the target and you hit, or you move the target and then you hit. With this help pump, when the attack is 1, 2, I punch, pah, and then when you hit with the help pump in the hip, you move the target. Now the help pump, horizontal help pump, he hit here, okay? And then this is the concept here. You can get the target, you can move the target to hit, okay? Thinking about how many techniques we do in this way, okay? One thing more, I talk about the concept, okay? Remember long 2. 1, remember the concept of kneeling, okay? You have our surface, okay, our angle to take the guideline to hit. In this way, when you are doing this, this is the concept of kneeling. And then when Frank explained me the technique, fatal deviation is when you turn. And now here you go forward. And then you are kneeling the target to hit in his knee. Okay, so you need to take the same way that you are doing you are doing here with the left, and you hit, okay? Because the target, the timing is 1, 2, is not 3 and then 4 and 5. The timing 1, 2 is 1. Okay, the target boom, boom. Now, okay, you need to move the base move. Now you change the line. You do the elbow. Remember this technique. It's the same thing, but you need to change the line. This technique is in this way, and here is in this way. But it's the same concept. Knee, elbow. And then come back to the long 2. The concept, I need the range when I do this. If I need the range, which position you have to get the range in place? Reversible. It's for that I do this, okay? When I do this, and then I go 1, 2, I come back and I hit. One thing more, check my feet. When I do this, now my feet is in this way. So you are crossover, check your feet to put your feet, okay? And check your base move. That's it all, my friend. Thank you so much. I come to you, my boss. And I am married. Okay.
Congratulations, my man. Congratulations. Sorry, I was sneaking some lunch in there. So yeah, excellent as always, Lorenzo. Excellent as always. I love the mind. I love where it thinks. And he got me thinking, like, we have all these cool little terms in Kenpo, like needling and threading and trampolining and rebounding. And we should talk about that sometime. Just Twin Dragons in Search of the Pearl. That's the coolest name strike in Kenpo, period. Hands down. I'll fight you for that. Twin Dragons in Search of the Pearl is an awesome name. All right. On that, we'll send it over to Samora.
Hey, everybody. Salute. Happy New Year. And Lorenzo, congratulations on that wedding. Awesome. All right. So Fatal Deviation. Not much more I can add to it. Once again, the guys coming in. Now you have entwined maces. You have circling fans. Where you're dealing with two punches, starting with the snaking talon and all that good stuff. Okay, so this time you're in a much closer range, I think, and the guy's hauling in. Okay, and we are working the center line. Okay, so circling fans, we went from the top and then work the center line. You have entwined maces where you start from the outside of your opponent and then work on the inside of his center line. So in Fatal Deviation, you work straight on from his center line. As that right punch comes in, we pick it up, or even if you fakes it, that hand's going to go up anyway, okay? And then we block punch. Now from here, this punch is to beat the action, is to meet the action. So this punch should go right into his face. If you connect it, fight might be over. You don't need to do the rest of the stuff. That's why I like it so much, okay? And I've used this before in tournaments, and it works really, really well, okay? So 1, 2, as you do this, can be a vertical punch, or it could be a chop, similar to what you do in 5-sword or snapping twig, okay? So they're all pretty much the same technique, just rearranging either the target or, the strike itself. So this could be to the face or a chop to the throat. I also come down with a straight down vertical chop right to the collarbone. Once again, this is sending him up, maybe back, but if I miss, I didn't hurt him, this should slow him down a little bit. Okay. From here, as we front cross over, what I'm doing here is a outward hammer fist right to the outside of his floating rib. Boom. As I do that, I heel palm to the hinge of the jaw at the same time, okay? As I do this, after this, move my hand over, and this is checking across his face, keeping him turned so that he can't see what's coming in next, okay? So now, if you can imagine, the heel of my palm is right on the side of his face. So I'm turning him so he's facing that way. Immediately shooting the knee right to the groin or to the inside of his thigh, okay, of his would be right thigh, okay? But I just shoot it straight ahead. Whatever I hit, I'm gonna hit. So hopefully I connect to the groin, nice and tight right there. As I plant down, we're gonna go off angle a little bit, hence where the deviation comes from, okay? So I plant forward as I shoot the elbow right to his face as I'm checking here, okay? Because I have a short leg, sometimes I need to reacross in order to reach his leg to buckle to do the next move, okay, as I hammer. Okay, so the timing on the knee, okay, so knee, elbow, reacross, you can add an extra elbow here as you buckle and hammer down. From here, you knee out. If his right leg is forward, the target is available, you knee to the inside of his knee, and then you cover out, okay? If his right leg is not forward, you then do the same motion, but this time you're gonna use your heel to catch the groin and you cover out, okay? So this is one of those techniques where you're learning how to disengage, okay? So I hit, I disengage from my opponent, I assess and regulate and see that he is still wiggling, or maybe he's coming in again, then I go back in and finish him off. All right, so from here, I'll try to do the whole thing. 1, 2, 3, knee, land off angle at 10 o'clock, recross elbow, buckle hammer, knee or heel scoop out from here, cover, jump back in and finish him off. So the last kick is gonna go to any available target. It could be his knee, it could be his ribs, or if you're flexible enough to reach his face, maybe his face. So the relationship with this technique is going back to, what is this, number 23 on the list, right? So if you look at attacking mace, we step back with the right, it would block straight. So that's exactly opposite of what we're doing, okay? You have raining claw in the next level. So we have this and then that. Okay, stepping back with the left this time. You know, so it's very, very similar movement. You have, what else? We have broken ram. Okay, also number 23. So now I'm here. Okay, instead of here at 12 o'clock, I change my angle and I hit. So this time, instead of using this as a block, the arm like in raining claw, this now hit to the back of the neck. Then you have glancing wing, where once again, okay, so here it is up high with fatal deviation or entwined maces, and then you have glancing wing, where here it is the same thing but down low. Okay, so low and punch, and the rest you all know. What other one? Yeah, I think that's plenty. But anyway, that is fatal deviation my way. Ha! Salute. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sabora. All right. Now we have, we have one more. Before we go to our guests, we have Mr. Angelo, who will be coming from a new special undisclosed location. We don't know where this is. Angelo, where are you?
What's happening, everybody? We're at an undisclosed location by the mountains. We can't tell you where because people will kill us if they find us. Anyway, how's everybody going? I want to, first of all, welcome Willie Aguilar and Erick Alfaro. Erick's one of my dearest, closest friends. I love the guy. We go to Mexico with him every year. And Willie is probably the guy that I've known the longest in Kenpo. I met Willie way back when I started with Trejo, and Willie's been a part of my Kenpo life ever since I can remember. We've been with this guy. He's had a big history with Willie, playing the guitar and stuff. So anyway, cool on that. The techniques, yeah. The technique today, this is what I call the giant killer. This is one of my favorite techniques. And the reason I call it that is because in the Friday Night Line, we used to run this technique, and this is where all the black belts used to go off doing all their cool grafting and stuff. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share with you the way I like to do it. It's probably not written by the book, but hey, nothing I do is like that. So as the punch comes in, I like to do that block, and I always like to step in on this technique because it's just like 5 swords. Now, if I'm going to go with a punch as he does this, that's fine. But you know me, I like to work on these tall guys. So I'm going to go down to the solar plexus. He comes in on me, I'm going to go pow, pow, and I'm going to shoot that. What that will do is it puts his head right where I want him so I can unwind with that shot right to the face, okay? So it's going to come in. We're going to go 1, 2, 3, boom. Now, Yoshi, my teacher, used to hit me, but then he would go up the circle and pop that chin right up, come in and drop this under, and then follow up with all those tricks. And that's a really good thing if he decides to throw another punch. I'm going to go up the circle, and then I do have a block here just in case. Now, let me talk about my lower quadrant and what I'm going to do here. As the punch comes in, 1, 2, 3. If I want to get something involved, I will. I'm going to do this. I'm going to go 1, 2, and as I do this, I can catch the growing and then still catch hitting him with that hammer fist, okay, to lower that height level. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go 1, 2, and I love to rebound. And you guys know my California jump switch ending. So I'm going to come from this position, and as I do this, I'm going to settle on that shot, okay? So I'm going to go settle, and then I'm going to drive that shot in. If he backs up, I have that distance. I can still engage this way. But if he doesn't and he settles, boom, I've got my knee, and I've got a rising upward elbow. Okay, so he comes in. We're gonna go 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, boom, pop, and then catch him up this way. Okay, kind of throw some Monty in there. So that's the way I like to do fatal deviation. Right? Yeah, get these mixed up. But that's the way I like to do it. One more time, real quick. 1, 2, up, 3, 4. I can catch here. I can go 1, 2, hit, rebound, hit, and then catch up on the top. All right. Now AJ, I taught him this technique, but he's twisted it and changed it around, and he's going to show you his timing real quick, which is almost like mine, but way different. Go.
I just changed the timing a little bit. Pretty much like Pop was saying, he likes to settle on this shot and then hit here. I prefer to use this, have our chop down here, bring them down. I like doing it the same way. Hit across. I like using this hand here as I'm advancing forward. So I'm actually going to hit as I'm moving, and I'm going to settle on this back note. So it becomes a 1, 2. There it goes, pop, pop, and I settle right there. Now notice that head comes right here. From here, I can shoot this back out as I shoot that knee. Boom, getting some space. I can land and then finish with my technique. So pretty much just playing with the range a little bit differently. Instead of coming here and possibly knocking this person back with that double boom, that knee and that elbow might not be there. Okay, which is why we would have to switch to that kick, thrusting, salute type move. So I like to keep them in place and make it more of a rapid fire, where it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's a pop, 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 as opposed to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I kind of take a little bit of move out and layer them up a little differently, but overall same technique.
Same technique, and this is also what you guys have seen video of me doing this technique. This is the base where I got my famous technique from here, pow, whack, boom, and then do that front throw. So that was where I got the base for the technique, was off this technique. So anyway, back at you guys. Anything else you want to add?
Yep.
All right, so we're going back to you guys. Let's get our guests rolling. Thanks, and we'll talk to you guys in a little bit.
Thank you very much to the Collados. Thank you very much, gentlemen. All right, moving right along. Our next presenter is our first of our 2 guests. This gentleman hails from Mexico, which I've been hearing about Erick Alfaro for a really, really long time. Angelo and Monty love him. Apparently he runs a amazing tournament, and then I find out that this gentleman is a veterinarian too. What an interesting fellow. I very much would like to get to know Mr. Alfaro more. And right now we're going to have that opportunity. Mr. Alfaro, if you could just unmute your microphone, please. There he is. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Don Alfaro.
¿Cómo están, hermanos? Para mí es un honor estar junto a grandes instructores. It's an honor for me to be here with these instructors. Okay? Para mí, yo veo que todos hacen técnicas excelentísimas. I'm seeing all of you do excellent techniques. Ok, muy bien, vamos a ver un poquito de desvastación fatal. We're going to see a little bit of fatal deviation. ¿Cómo la trabajamos en nuestra familia? And how we work it. Lo primero que nosotros siempre pensamos en todas las técnicas es romper la altura, la anchura y la profundidad de cualquier ataque. The first thing when we do techniques is break the width, depth, and the height. Es muy importante que en cada técnica que hacemos en Kenpo rompamos estas 3 opciones. It's important that when we do a technique, we need to break these 3 things: height, weight, and depth. Okay, muy bien. Entonces el primer concepto sabemos todos conocemos, es 1, ¿sí? 2. La técnica tal como la enseñó Mr. Parker, sabemos que en un momento es el punch o el golpe hacia la cara. Well, the first 2 movements, we know it. And we know that the first punch is to the face. Nosotros hacemos el concepto y vamos a aplicar el golpe completamente en el plexo solar o en el estómago. We're going to do the punch to the solar plexus or the stomach. ¿Por qué? Es algo muy importante. Cuando nosotros golpeamos en la cara, si el golpe es muy fuerte, ¿sí? Él puede hacer una reacción y levantar su pierna y le va a golpear en los genitales. If our hit is too strong to his face, he go down and he's gonna up his leg and it's gonna hit me in my groin. Entonces, lo primero que yo estoy haciendo es romper la anchura. 1, 2 y rompo profundidad. The first thing I do is break his width, and the second is break his depth. En ese momento puedo utilizar una espada o puedo utilizar un martillo. Immediately I can do a chop to his neck or a hammer fist to his face. Es muy importante el ritmo que vamos a utilizar. Si no tenemos ritmo, esto es como si fuera un baile totalmente fuera de música. This is like a dance, and we use timing that is important, because if we don't do the timing, it's like a dance without music. Okay. Para nosotros el ritmo es zitzatze. For us, the rhythm is zitzatze. ¿Sí? No contamos nosotros, no utilizamos números, utilizamos ritmos de música. We don't use numbers to do techniques, we use rhythms like music. Sería zitzatze. The first 3 are zitzatze. Okay. Ahora, para economizar movimiento, yo voy a, es muy importante la línea, cuando él está en el aire, no voy directamente, utilizo el concepto de la línea de contour real. Cualquier punto que me va a llevar del punto A al punto B, me va a llevar a un punto nervioso. Okay, here's a big concept that is contouring. Contouring is important because it serves as a guide to reach the nerve point we want. It's like a train that follows a track over A to B. Muy importante, un concepto para nosotros muy importante dentro de nuestras academias es cómo giramos la cadera y cómo posicionamos la pierna. It's important to position our legs in a forward bow. Si flexionamos la rodilla y la persona es muy fuerte, me va a llevar hacia atrás. If we do a kneeling position, we don't support the weight of our opponent. Okay. Pero si yo estoy en el concepto de anclaje, estoy anclado por más que sea más pesado que yo. If we are in a concept of forward bow, even if the opponent have more weight than me, I can support his weight. Okay. Entonces repetimos 1, 2, 3, 6, 7. Ahora entramos y rasgamos con los dedos, rasgamos el ojo. We drag in a crossover stance with hook and eye and hit his stomach with the right arm. Rasgo. Hook and eye, hit to his stomach. One, 2, 3. Hook and eye, hit his stomach. Okay. Rasgo a los ojos, golpeo y podemos golpear dependiendo de la posición de la pierna de él. Muchos si la pierna izquierda está al frente, voy a entrar a los genitales. Si la pierna derecha de él está al frente, voy a entrar al músculo. It depends how is his position. Va a ser muy importante cómo nos está atacando nuestro oponente. No siempre se va a mover de la misma manera. It's important how our opponent attacks us. Never is the same position. There you can see that he do a knee to his inside leg. Ahora utilizamos el concepto básico. Okay, right. Here another big concept, the basic movements. As we know, basic movement, like an outward block to head, have 2 movements, the uppercut and the block. Now in this, continue. It cuts it. And we do an outward block to his head, to his jaw. With your left arm, catch his head, and with your right arm, execute an inward blow, an inward elbow to his jaw. Is making like a sandwich, where your arms are the bread and his head is jammed. Now pivot into a reverse bow and execute an hammer fist to his groin, checking your right shoulder. Now execute and with your heel and scoop to his groin. And we go into a right crossover stance, return in with the back kick to your opponent's body, don't matter where you hit him. And with this, your opponent's out. First concept. First concept, timing. Second concept, countering. At the third concept, the basics. Sandwich to his head, hammer fist to his groin, scoop to his groin, and return with the back kick. Do you have any question?
I think we're okay.
Up again?
No, you're good. You're good. Go ahead.
Okay. Saben que ellos tienen siempre aquí en Aguascalientes todos los hermanos de sangre, todos los Brotherhoods tienen aquí en Aguascalientes una casa, una escuela que siempre los va a recibir con los brazos abiertos. All of you have here in Aguascalientes, Mexico, a Brotherhood that receive you wherever you want. Saben que siempre van a ser recibidos. Me va a dar mucho gusto que acompañen a mi hermano Angelo, a mi hermano Newbar, a mi hermano Lorenzo, que viajen junto con ellos. It's an honor for me that go with my brother Angelo, my brother Newbar, and travel, and my brother Lorenzo. And bueno, a cada uno de ustedes, esta siempre va a ser su casa. Every one of you, this ever has been your house. Sí, para mí es un honor estar con ustedes. It's an honor for me to be here. Y espero que haya aportado un poquito el gran concepto de Kenpo. I hope that we afford a little bit of concept of Kenpo. Okay. Gracias a Luis por tu traducción. Gracias, Luis. Is a translator. Translate. Manuel, gracias.
Gracias, Don Alfaro. Muy bien, and thank you, Manuel, I think was his name, the translator. Excellent job. How cool was that? Man? Couple guys in Mexico. Not even speaking English, you're just translating and doing it. And guess what? We all speak the language anyway. So how cool was that? Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it, gentlemen. All right. Now it takes us to our final presenter. Our final presenter, Willie Aguilar, is absolutely loved by all of us. This guy is the greatest guy. He's such a nice man. He's so talented. He's just fun to be around. We spent the whole weekend in Long Beach with him. And once again, where did I meet Willie? At a Frank Trejo benefit. Just another gift from Frank Trejo that I get to meet such a wonderful person. My friend, Mr. Willie Aguilar.
Hey, how you doing there, Mr. Dan Mick? It's wonderful to see you again. Big shout out to you. Big shout out to Savora Chan. Big shout out to Angelo Collado. And, of course, his son, AJ. It's good to see you, AJ. How's that guitar work coming out? Anyway, we're here to do a great technique, fatal deviation. That's one of my favorite techniques because you learn to move around an opponent and move with an opponent and continue to control that opponent. First of all, I'll do it in the air to show you, and I'll have my assistant here, Julie, who will help me out. Number one thing we have to learn on fatal deviations that we're going to basics, just like Mr. Trejo used to say, just get down to basics. On the basic foundation, we step back into a right neutral bow, and we do a right inward block. So we step back, block in, and we check out here. Now, if you think of basics, I'll come back and explain to you what that basic is right there. Second motion of that is boom. Then we just come in here and we strike, boom. Now, as we strike this time, we're going to step drag and strike. Okay, right there. But our right hand, if you notice, I kept my hand down here. What is that like? Think about that for a second. Okay, so we go 1 and 2. Here's my hand. Then I come in here. Boom. Now my hand is here. What do I do? Think of basics again. What's happening in that basic? What I like to teach is this comes from 3 basic techniques. 3 basic techniques is delayed sword, alternating bases, sword of destruction, and then we insert our motion of how we're going to control our opponent. So the way I do it is starting with basics, step drag, boom, hand comes out, and hand sword. Now I use this hand as a collapsing motion. I dig my elbow into the rib cage as I come in and strike, boom, strike the heel palm, okay. Insert the knee, and elbow sandwich. Now that knee has got to land right next to it to get that buckle that's in that big red book that says we have to buckle that right leg into the front. Step out, assess your situation, come back, and kick. Look at that, Julie. Here. So we step back. First of all, he throws a punch. You want to step away from that punch. Okay, a lot of times we like to go into it, but I only go into the punch if it's a round punch, like in 5 Swords, I'll go into the punch in 5 Swords. But if it's a straight punch, I come back, boom. Okay. She comes in with that left hook, boom, right up in there. Now I come in, boom. This is where I start controlling. Control right there. Control. Okay. Now there's my. I think we're out of range. Okay, we'll do that again. Okay. Step away. Boom. Boom. Oh my God. So we'll put on this so we can see what we're doing here. Comes in with the right punch. You step away. Block, hit, chop. Now we start using, see, I use that control factor. I'm going to feed her right into my heel palm as I also check down here. Boom. Control. Now ready to get away. Knee. Keep my knee in there. Now I'm going to buckle into a reverse bow. There's that buckle. Knee right there. Step back. And just keeping it basic. Basic is the foundation of Lawler Kenpo. We got to think about patterns of motion. It's what we learn in our techniques. When we start learning basic techniques, we start learning pattern of motion. We use a universal pattern to teach our lessons. That's all I got for today. What else? Guitar playing? Some blues? I don't know. Thank you very much, Dan, Sabora, and Angelo.
Man, I just put a smile on my face seeing you. But I have to say, Willie, your partner there, here's what I love the best, is the face to Andy. We've all made it before, right? She's sitting there like this, knowing the elbow's coming. I've been there. I know exactly where you were in that position when you were sitting there like, here it comes, here it comes. Spectacular. Thank you so much. Thank you so very much for joining us. All right. So this brings us to the end of today's roundtable. But as always, first we have to finish with a little pass the mic. That's where each of our presenters takes about 30 seconds just to give us a little wrap up and share your thoughts. So we're going to send it right out to our pal, the scribe, Mr. Michael Miller.
Hey, everybody. Thank you very much for tuning in today. It went very well, as always. We always appreciate you guys. And it's always nice to see everybody's perspective. It's good stuff. I want to thank our guests today. Thank you, guys. I appreciate you guys. It was great for having you guys here. And to my buddy Lorenzo, congratulations, buddy, on your marriage. And go have some vino.
All right, thank you, Mr. Miller. We're going to throw it over to Monte.
Hello, guys. Thank you so much. I appreciate everything. It's a great honor to be part of this group. And as you see, it's $50 a year, nothing. It's change that you put as tips, to on meals during the time in the month, you end up spending that much. And it's for the whole entire year. You got hundreds and hundreds of videos. It's definitely worth the effort. And like I always say, it's a great mind alliance. All these great thinkers, all these people, hundreds of years of knowledge being poured into videos for you guys to share. And, we benefit out of you as you benefit out of us. So it's not just one way. It's everybody putting their mind together. You give us information, we give you information, and we keep things going. Thank you so much. Salute to all.
All right, we're going to send it over to Mark Lawler.
Hey, everybody, what a great day. And as always, what a pleasure to be involved with this, and just tremendous, the diversity and people from all over the world, man. This is really, really cool. Mr. Parker would have loved this. Lorenzo, I forgot that you got married, man. Congratulations, my friend. I feel bad I forgot about that. So that's awesome, man. So I don't know. What else is there to say? I guess as things start to open up, maybe we can start doing some things in person again. This ain't going to last forever, this craziness. So, that's it. Good to see everybody. Back to you, Dan.
Thank you very much, Mr. Lawler. All right, it's my turn. So I want to share a quick story. It's like spring of 2000. We were back in the day, we were in the WKK, and the WKK had their demo team, of which myself, Mr. Lawler, Mr. Stewart, Sabora, Donfro, I probably forgot somebody, but a good portion of the Brotherhood comes from the WKK. Anyway, we're doing this demo. This is in Atlantic City at the convention center. It was Saul and I. Was it Saul and I? It might have been, I think it was Tony 40, actually. Tony 40 and I. And then Joe Palonzo was doing his demo on Tom LaVarco.
I was there for that one. That wasn't Tony.
Was that you? Was that you there for that one, Saul? Yeah. So anyway, Tom LaVarco missed a cue and went out of range, right? And if you weren't in the practice, you never would have known it happened because Joe Palonzo covered it up so perfectly. He was in the middle of doing his technique, and all of a sudden, LaVarco was out of range. Now, how many of us have been there and been like, uh-oh, that's not what I was planning. What am I going to do there? But Palonzo effortlessly, flawlessly covered it up by doing that front crossover move and flowing into like a circling fan / fatal deviation type of a move. And that stuck with me. I never forgot it. That's why I'm talking about it over 20 years later. Because when you're doing these techniques, if the guy moves, the footwork is built in there already. You just have to think about it. And a couple of guys pointed it out today. Steve Stewart pointed it out. Lorenzo pointed it out with the so it's good stuff to pay attention to. All right, that's all I have to say about that. We're going to throw it up to Dartmouth. Donfro.
All right, thanks, Dan. Awesome time today with Fatal Deviation. It was pretty impressive with presenters from 4 different countries, and it was just an honor to present alongside with Mr. Erick Alfaro and Willie Aguilar. And want to give a shout out to Sean Booth. I forgot to mention it doing the thing. He was the one who came up with our little snapping twig relationship. So shout out to you, Sean. And, once again, great time. Sending it back over to Dan.
So here I am thinking I'm learning from 8-degree black belts and I'm learning Kenpo from a green belt. How awesome is that? That's great. Good stuff, Sean. Good stuff, Sean. All right, let's send it up to Canada. And where's Steve Stewart? I don't see Steve Stewart. You there, Steve Stewart?
Is my name Skip?
Here.
There he is, Steve Stewart.
God bless America. Anyway, it's always a pleasure to work with you guys. Yes, I've known you guys for, seems like forever. I think we all met at Toys R Us. I can't remember. Anyway, I don't know the 2 special guest presenters today. It was awesome. Just a privilege and an honor to be a part. Learned so much, especially from the green belt. I wrote that down. Lorenzo wrote down as well. Now that he's married. Lorenzo, I didn't know you got married. I didn't get invited. Anyway, congratulations, my friend. And to the Brotherhood, again, just a privilege and honor. You guys are amazing. Love you all. And hope that we get a lot from Canada and I can venture across the border soon. Back to you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Stu. We're going to send it over to Brian Saul.
Are we going to have Canadian royalty in the U.S. soon? That would be amazing. Anyway, Mr. Alfaro, I know we've never met. I look forward to meeting you on one of these days. Fantastic job today. Thank you for sharing what you shared. And Willie, what can I say, Willie? Man, I loved hanging out with you in Long Beach. I can't wait till we get to do that again. Thank you for everything again today. And, you know, I think this guy's probably looking down, smiling, you know, at what he's seeing here. But we couldn't do it without everyone. So thank you everyone for being a part of this and making it what it is. And if you're not already a member, come and join us, man. It's a blast for $5 a month. I mean, come on. So anyway, Happy New Year to everybody. Be safe out there. And back to you, Mr. Mack.
Well, we're not going to me. We're going to send it over to the married guy. Lorenzo, unmute your mic.
Oh, congratulations, Lorenzo. I forgot to tell you that too. I'm such a bad friend.
Okay, thank you so much, brother. Thank you so much to all people. The first thing is glad to be part of this group. All the time share his idea, and this is amazing with great respect. And this is a great example that we need to continue to do. Okay, this is fantastic people, and fantastic. Maybe the King of Canada is not fantastic, but we need to adapt. Okay, we need to adapt. Okay? But no problem. When we will see another time, we continue to talk. Of course, Mr. Aguilar, it's a pleasure for me to be part. I see your ideas, and I take something that maybe I will implement it in the technique. And of course, my brother in Mexico, Alfaro. Hermano, eres un crack, ya tengo ganas de verte y a ver si ya de una vez acaba el COVID y nos vemos, ¿vale? So, thank you so much for all people, and come to you, boss. We continue the party the next time, okay? So, thank you so much.
You guys ever notice that Lorenzo's always doing it like from a studio or some cool hot spot, and then the first show, whatever. Anyway, thank you very much, Lorenzo. Let's move it on to Samora.
Hey, everybody. Once again, thank you very much for tuning in and joining us today. And it was a blast. Lorenzo, congratulations once again, my friend. That's awesome. Willie, great to see you again. And I look forward to seeing you sometime later this year. Erick Alfaro, great to see you. And thank you for joining us today, brother. Fun time. Hopefully we'll see you again in the state soon. Yes, do join the Brotherhood, guys. Sign up is really easy. BrotherhoodKenpo.com. Also, upcoming event. I think Dan mentioned it already, but I'll run through it again really quick. Our 10th anniversary camp in Baltimore coming up on March 18 through 19. We're gonna release our official flyer within the next day or two. In May, we got Huck Plannis. Huck Plannis is everybody know Huck. He's the encyclopedia of Kenpo. We had a blast last time he was at my school. He's coming to Mark Lawler in May. In June, another good camp in Rhode Island at David Gigliotti. In August 12th through 14, we are back in Long Beach, I believe, for the international championship. So make sure you guys planning on going there. Maybe we have September Huck at my place.
You can go by.
Okay. And October we're in Dartmouth, Massachusetts at Dan Dunford School. Gonna be a blast. And then November 11, 12 we are in Deerfield Beach, Florida. So hopefully we'll see you guys at some of those events. Thank you for tuning in, guys. See you next time. Salud.
All right, we're going to send it over to Angelo.
Hey, guys. Thank you again for a wonderful presentation. Willie, you guys were great. Good to see you, brother. Lorenzo, congratulations for getting married. Ahora vas a poner más viejo, hombre.
Ya estoy más viejo.
Can't wait to go to Mexico either. So anyway, and I'll really quick, thank you guys for the support and all the stuff I got about my dog, Dolly. It's been a really tough time losing her. She was a part of the Brotherhood for 10 years because when I started and I met everybody at Dan Mecca, and that's when I first got Dolly. So she was a Brotherhood member her whole life. So thank you for that support.
Great stuff today, guys. Always good. Definitely pulled some nuggets out that we're going to play with.
Oh, yeah.
Working off to the side while you guys were doing your thing.
Got some great ideas.
Great stuff. Always fun. Love you guys.
So from an undisclosed location, back to you, Dan.
We're going to send it over to Mexico, Mr. Alfaro.
Muchísimas gracias por haberme permitido este espacio. Vuelvo a repetir, esta es su casa.
Thank you very much for let me be here, and I repeat, this is your house.
Tengo el gusto de conocer a la mayoría, Simona, Lorenzo, Angelo, a la mayoría de ustedes, al maestro Willy, a todos ustedes, de verdad, les van brindo mucho de mis respetos.
I give you all my respect for you.
Y siempre van a ser bien recibidos. Muchas gracias por este espacio. Y para mí fue un honor y estoy muy feliz. Cuídense mucho con Cuídense mucho de la pandemia, por favor, porque esto está muy feo en todo el mundo.
Thank you very much for letting me be here and be careful a lot and with the pandemic.
Dios me los bendiga a todos y esta es su casa.
Pleasure for you. This is your house. Thank you very much.
Thank you. We definitely want to come visit. All right, let's throw it out to Willie.
Hello again from sunny Southern California. Angelo, I know where you're at. I know an undisclosed location. If it's sunny, you know you're not in California because it's raining right now. Anyway, thank you everyone for tuning in today. Thank the Brotherhood. I think the Brotherhood is a great thing to have because we get a lot of different ideas from around the world. Because Kenpo is around the world. It's not just American Kenpo, which is in America or the Americas, but it is around the world. We have Kenpo schools all over the place. With all that said, I want to thank Dan Mix, Deborah Chan, Angelo, all the presenters, Don Ofro, the King of Canada, which I have not met yet. I shall meet some royalty sometime. Lorenzo, felicidades en la boda. Ya se va a ser viejo, como dijo Angelo. And my friend down, Erick Alfaro, mucho gusto en verlo otra vez. And then here we are. I'd like to say thanks again, and thank you for having me on this Brotherhood Roundtable. Big salute to all of you guys.
All right, thank you very much. Well, that's all we got. I got to be honest with you, I messed it up. I'm supposed to throw it to Sabora last, and I just read off the paper and threw it to him third to last. So I'm closing it out. Thank you very much, everybody. We'll see you again next month.
Noir, Angelo. Ciao, bye. Go. Don Alfaro, see you later. Angelo.
Hello, Erick, por allá.
Lorenzo, felicidades, Marisol, Dios te bendiga.
Hasta luego, Marisol, chao, Erick. Un abrazo. Hasta luego.
Felicidades,
Adiós. Un gusto.
All right, everybody. We'll see you. Let's go, Chiefs!